Welcome to Strange Bedfellows. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Stefanie Jochman-Deepak. Today, we are discussing Season 1, Episode 5 of Downton Abbey.
We're getting through Season 1 so quickly.
Yes.
Is it not surprising to learn as I was watching these episodes and being like, oh, there's only 7. There's only 7 episodes.
I know, because I feel like other seasons get a little bit longer, right?
I think they do get a little bit longer. But also, I think as Americans, I still just remember the days of 22, 24, 26 episode seasons. Yeah. And that's just never been the case over in the UK, so.
No, their series are far smaller.
Yeah.
Although, we're really starting to chew through as much story as a 22 episode season.
Right. I'm not mad about it either. The episodes are they're longer, you know, they're on the longer side, which is great. Yep. But yeah, almost it's like this show is tailor made for a podcast about rewatching, because it's you don't have to get through so much content.
Right.
And they don't have to fill in. I've never really felt like there's a season in Downton Abbey or any of Julian Fellowes' shows that I have already watched, where it feels like, okay, this is the mid-season slump where we just have to do some other storylines to fill in our episode count. And then it's he uses what he has. He fills in every episode with things that are interesting and move the story forward. And as we'll discuss in this episode, and I think the next one too, he drops in how much time has passed, and a lot of time has passed.
Yes.
Since the first episode. So yeah, already episode 5. We're wrapping things up here on season 1 pretty quickly. So
yeah, things are moving.
Yeah. So what happened in episode 5, Stefanie? I think it's time for a 60-second recap.
Well, let's hear from the diary of Lady Rosamund Painswick. Dear Diary, while I realize his family at Downton pity my widowed life in the big city, I confess my grass is far greener here in London than in Yorkshire. How on earth do Robert and Cora survive all the daily drama happening under their roof? The rumors I hear swirling about Mary and a certain Turkish ambassador suggest that their eldest daughter has truly run wild, though well done, Mary, have fun when you can. And as a result, they are trying to pair her off with the dullest man in the region. He's decent enough, but a much better fit for Edith, I think. And Cousin Matthew is still there in the wings, seeming equal parts smart and sophisticated, a much better match. And then they fed Sir Anthony Strachan a salty pudding prepared by a blind cook. I'm all for loyalty, but that sort of rustic mistake would get them laughed out of the city, I'm certain. Cora writes that Mrs. Patmore's ailments aren't their only concern. A housemaid seems to be sneaking off, seeking other employment, and engaging Lady Sybil in her very muddy deception. And the new valet, Mr. Bates, appears to have been the target of some false accusations from Thomas and O'Brien. I haven't liked the look of either of them during any of my visits to Downton. I recognize that a lady's maid is difficult to train, but why Cora keeps O'Brien around is beyond me. Meanwhile, Mamma writes in an absolute dither about having to hand off the flower show trophy to Mr. Molesley. Good on him, his roses are gorgeous. This seems like new cousin Isabel's doing. It appears Mamma has met her match, and it has been truly delicious to read about it in her letters. Indeed, there is far more afoot in Downton Village than anyone can properly address. I am happy to remain here, all alone in this big house, and quite content.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yes.
Probably really longer than 60 seconds. But
who's keeping track? Not me.
Good.
No. My very first note for this episode is it's our first mention of Aunt Rosamund.
Yeah.
So we're being introduced to the idea that Robert has a sister who lives in London, and that she is a widow. She's a widow, and so she lives all alone in this great house, and how sad it must be for her. Until Mary's I don't know, sounds great to me.
Yeah. I love that. I was like, why is everyone negging on Rosamund? She's awesome.
Yeah.
Often gets people out of a bind, lives a rather progressive life, as we will come to learn.
Right.
So leave Rosamund alone. Stop pitying her. She's fine.
Yeah. Well, and we have that conversation about Aunt Rosamund, and then we also have the conversation happening between Sybil and Gwen, where Sybil says, things are changing for women.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's almost like the thesis of the episode is like things are changing. And even though there are people like Violet in the mix who have strong feelings about the way things should happen for Mary and the timing with which they should happen, there's more options than there used to be. And the sort of exercise of the whole series is to uncover what those can be.
Yeah.
So
well said.
Yeah. Oh, and then okay, so let's get into the gossip about Mary, because it is coming from Aunt Rosamond.
Yes.
In this episode, it's coming from Aunt Rosamond.
Yeah, that's a good point. In this episode.
In this episode.
The rumors are swirling.
Yeah, and swirling around Evelyn Napier, and about that visit, and of course Robert is clueless.
Yep.
And Cora is like, "Leave it to me. Everything's fine." So it's. I do sort of feel that we move away from that storyline for this episode a bit.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't truly come back to haunt us until a little bit later, so we do get to focus on what's going on at Downton.
Yes.
But the thread is still running through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything more to say about that drama in this episode?
Not in this episode. I feel like the next episode we'll be able to get into it some more. But this is our first clue that it's going beyond Downton. Like it hasn't disappeared as much as they've tried to bury it. Things are happening.
Mm-hmm. Very organically.
Yeah.
The gossip has already started. And then, of course, by the end of this episode, some inorganic meddling it becomes a part of the storyline as well. We will get to that. Oh, I do love... since one of the other major storylines of this episode is the Anthony Stralin of it all.
Oh my gosh.
The way they talk about Edith, being Cora and Robert, the way they are laying down in bed and
that's
talking
in the
about
next episode.
Oh, that's next episode. Okay. But even in this episode, you know, the line was, "Poor Edith, I hope there's a right tree for her somewhere."
Yes,
like,
yes.
Everybody recognizes.
Yeah.
Not like, oh.
Yeah.
Poor Edith.
As I have said to you off podcast, Edith is Doonies.
Yes.
If you're familiar with the Kristen Wiig character in the Lawrence Welk skits, where there's like the one awkward sister in the sister act in the Lawrence Welk show, you know, who just sticks out, stands out, it's totally awkward. That is Edith right now.
Absolutely.
Which just adds to like the beauty of her storyline as this show continues. But in this first season, wow, you know, she's turning her pity towards Rosamond. Ironically, I think everybody else is turning their pity towards her. Yeah. Including the viewer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Edith, you're right. Poor Rosamond. Just to follow that storyline, I forgot that Anthony Stralin came into the story so early.
I think I did too. I mean, my rewatch last summer reminded me, but I think because his thread runs through the show longer than I had remembered. Mm-hmm. You know, that he really is a seed that's planted here, and then we'll see him again and again. Yeah.
I really give Julian Fellowes a lot of credit for introducing him this early as sort of like the polar opposite of what Mary could have.
Yeah.
You know, in episode 1, we have Charlie Cox, a duke, a very handsome young duke.
Yep.
Which she may have had issues with in the long run and other reasons, but from the outside, like this ambitious young duke, handsome guy, like this is who is coming to call.
Yeah.
And then only a few episodes later, it's like, this could be your best option. So maybe you should think about the old widower from down the road.
Yeah, that this is safe. Like now we're getting to a point where marriage is essential. And when there are questions surrounding you, this is the kind of man who will look the other way.
Yeah. Well, because she's so old, as we've discussed.
Oh, yes. So old.
On her last legs. that Lady Mary. Like, she better do something about it quickly. Oy. Other dramas that are happening this episode. I love Violet and Isabel's confrontation in this one.
The flower show.
Yes.
It is. I'm trying to think if I wrote down. Must I sacrifice something at the altar of Mosley's ambition?
Yes. But a part of what I love about it is that it is so out in the open. It's not that Isabel sees what's going on and then turns to somebody else and goes like, oh, she always wins this flower show? Isn't that a little weird? Yeah. She walks right up to Violet and is like, oh, I remember you won this last year. Also, side note, she remembers from last year. It's been a whole year already.
Oh, wow. I did not clock that.
Oh, yeah. I wrote that down. She remembers the cup from the year before. So they've been there a whole year already.
Or did she just come? Does she like a flower show and she happened to attend that one?
That could be, but it really seemed like they had never been to Downton.
Yeah.
Her and Matthew.
Well, I'm trying to think because I guess, we start in 1912, right? The Titanic sinks in 1912.
Yeah.
And World War One, spoiler, we're headed there, starts in, is it 1918? Things that we need to Google.
I'm going to IMDb right now because I know they use it. So this happens in August of 1913 is when the episode starts.
Yeah, so then it
would have been about a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but when she said that, again, just like paying attention for different things this watch through, I was like, it's been a year? She remembers the flower show from last year? Wow. But then she goes right up to her and is like, interesting how you win. And at one point they have a confrontation about how, Violet's trying to, like, because I often win. And she's like, but you don't often win, do you? You always win.
Yes.
There's a difference. And what I'm trying to bring to your attention is that there may be a deference that you don't recognize because you've lived in this town and had this position for so long. And that you may be getting accolades you don't deserve, dear cousin.
Yeah.
And the way that rattles Violet so at the beginning. But ultimately, she comes to see the truth of it.
Yeah.
Is such a great way for Julian Fellowes to show that character she is set in her ways, she is sharp-tongued, she is stubborn, but she's not immovable.
Yeah. And I feel like as the series has continued, it's drawn this really beautiful parallel between Mary and the Dowager, and that's just developed so nicely. And in this rewatch now, as you see, like, Mary having those moments of, she is stubbornly thinking one way and then she is moved, or she's putting up a front and then a piece of that gets revealed. In these moments with Violet, where she too has to sort of confront her own faults or, change her mind, we see some really nice connections between the two of them, I think.
Yeah. And this is just a great early example of that, because, there have been, right from the start, I think the second episode, there was the thing about the hospital. The hospital and the medication for the man's heart and dropsy and saving him, where Isabel seemed to prevail.
Yep.
And then there was the storyline about Mosley's skin condition, where Violet seemed to prevail. This is one where it doesn't seem so much that one or the other has won, but that they've simply learned something from their sparring.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
So, and also ultimately the person who wins is Mr. Mosley.
Yeah.
Who finally gets recognized.
Mr. Mosley Sr.
Yes. Who finally gets recognized for all of his beautiful work.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Mosley's relationship with his dad is a nice, just like tiny detail in this series, because he'll help him out in other situations in the future. And I just appreciate that reminder of, for many of these people working in the house, they have family, just outside in the community.
Yeah.
And this really is like, this is a house and the community surrounding it. And plenty of people are aware of and a part of what makes everything run.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it speaks to also just like that period of time in that your life as an adult didn't really begin until you were married. One way or another. You know, even Matthew is, you know, he lives with his mother.
Yeah.
In not the Dowager House, the whatever house it is.
Grantham. I think it's Grantham.
Is it Grantham House?
House is in London.
Yeah, no. They have so many houses. The Crawley House? I don't know. It's one of the houses.
It's Crawley House.
Crawley House?
Yeah.
Crawley House. So, like, they move together. They live together. Their existence is together. Mr. Mosley is still a part of his dad's daily work and chores and is helping him with that.
Yeah.
You know, until you are sent off to work in like the big house, as some people are. And even then, like William still has an existing relationship with his family.
Right.
You know, your life as an adult doesn't really begin until you are a new family unit. So maybe that's a good thing, and it speaks to like the family ties. But then there's also the modern side of me that is like, you know, Mosley could use a little independence. Why didn't love the character, glad he stuck around, love his trajectory through the show. But there's also a part of me that's like, maybe he just should have gone to another village and like started fresh, and a whole new set of eyes could have looked at this very intelligent, sensitive man and found value in him much earlier than this community did, when they just saw him as, you know, fumbling. Mr. Mosley's son who, you know, bounces from job to job for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Other storylines going on. We have the beginning of a storyline with Bates and O'Brien and Thomas.
Yes.
And they're already trying to drag Daisy into it. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on there?
So Thomas has wanted that position of valet, and so they're trying to knock Bates out. And I think he sees Bates too as a threat, because Bates sees right through him, you know, sees all of his scheming. And so he poses a threat really to both of them because of this strong moral fiber. And so Thomas steals one of Robert's snuff boxes and decides to hide it among Bates's things in an effort to frame Bates as a thief. And at the same time, he's trying to like get the full dirt on Mary and the situation with Pamuk. And so like gets, you know, he's given O'Brien a thread of this. And so she's trying to get more information from Daisy. And then she passes on whatever she heard from Daisy to Edith. So they're really kind of scheming from a variety of sides to gain power, get a little leverage in the household. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that they would be threatened by him for more than just the fact that he has the job that Thomas wants.
Yeah.
Because it's true that when you are that, I was about to say that sort of person, but how undescriptive that is. When you are someone who gains power and influence through deceit or through manipulation, when you see someone coming into a situation who seems to be able to resist that, or who doesn't want to play that game, and has a very strong personal connection to your employer, which I think may ultimately be the thing that unsettles them the most, that like this person with a handicap has been allowed to stay in a very prominent position in the house. Well, clearly that means he has something on
Lord Grantham.
Robert. Yeah. So yeah, they're doing everything they can to get rid of somebody who will just stand in their way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So yeah, in this episode we learn about the snuff box going missing.
And then Anna of Anna Bates Investigates.
Yes.
Sort of figures out the situation, clues in. Does she clue in Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Carson, or does she just...
No, I don't think they do at all. And in fact, I don't know that do they even... I don't think this gets resolved in this episode.
No, they do, because she then stages a situation where they're going to search everybody's room. And it becomes obvious to Thomas and O'Brien that Bates and Anna have like found the snuff box and hid it in one of their rooms. And so then Carson,
yes, that's right. The snuff box gets resolved.
Yes.
And then
it's wine.
Yes. The accusations being thrown back and forth continue in the next episode.
Yeah. I had remembered the snuff box situation. I had not remembered what comes up in the next episode. But yeah, so they resolve it by basically kind of outsmarting Thomas and O'Brien.
Yes.
And so when Carson comes into Thomas's room, it's already been torn apart because he's been led to believe it's been placed there.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah, and
freaking
it's because Anna just tells Bates, like, you better go look. If this thing is missing, you better search your room.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling it's in there.
Yeah.
So
they find it, return it, and then make Thomas and O'Brien believe that they've placed it in their quarters.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah. Anna,
well done, Anna.
Anna is a real hero in this episode.
Yeah.
And I just love, since we're talking about Anna and Bates, so things conclude with them like having this moment of her really confessing her love to him.
Yeah.
You know, and sort of a unbiased, unabashed love, the sort of like, I don't care who you were or what's going on with you, but I really like you. And I love that she just has this very practical, open heart where it's like, here's how I feel. And I'm going to tell you because why not?
Yeah. Well, and she says, because, I mean, he's sort of implying like this would be improper or like, I shouldn't treat a lady this way. And Anna comes right out and says, like, I'm not a lady and I don't pretend to be.
And he says, but you are a lady to me.
Yeah.
Such a good line.
Yeah. So it's in the way they see themselves and the way they see each other that they can't find their way to each other right now.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Anna is willing to not take too seriously the conventions that others might look askance at this relationship. She's willing to say, like, don't think of me that way. Like, I'm just a housemate. Like, we can get together, man.
Yeah.
And he's the one being like, no, that would be improper.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
We also start to see a little bit of Mrs. Patmore's eyesight coming to the forefront.
Yes.
When she argues with Cora over changing the dessert for Anthony Strallen's dinner.
Yes, he wants apple charlotte. But no.
Yeah, no. Instead, they're going to do what I think is the worst dessert, which is a meringue.
Oh, yeah.
Anything meringue based. I don't mind a meringue in addition to something else, but when the dessert is like meringue and then fruit and then more meringue and like some cream, I'm like, I'm not into that.
I feel like the pavlova is always a great idea in theory, but not one that I think I would enjoy much in practice.
No. And it's a terrible challenge on the Great British Baking Show as well.
Yes.
Because trying to do meringue outside is just stupid.
Yep. And inevitably it's always the hottest week in the tent.
Yes. So
cruel producers.
So I'm frankly with Anthony Strallen. I would like to change the dessert to an apple rousse or apple charlotte, whatever it was.
It just sounds, and the way Elizabeth McGovern says it, apple charlotte, like it just sounds so beautiful. Like so love beautiful. Those like rolling L's.
Yeah. What else is going on downstairs?
I mean, like, let's take a moment for Mrs. Patmore when she prepares this dessert, which is normally something that she's an expert at, accidentally puts salt in it as a result of her blindness. And so you get Strallen just like expectorating at dinner and almost acting as though he's like having a heart attack or a stroke. It's a little hyperbolic. Frankly,
he's a bit of a drama queen.
He is a little bit. And I mean, Mary starts laughing at him at the table with Matthew, super embarrassing given that like they're trying to set her up with him, and she just like openly mocks him, can't cover it up. But to Mary's credit, his reaction was ridiculous. Like,
agreed.
Yeah, all you have to do is just like, this tastes a bit funny. This wasn't what I was expecting. I believe there's.
I'm trying to
salt
think,
in
like,
there.
is there an amount of salt you could put on something that would make me spit it out at dinner? With knowing that he was expecting to taste something sweet.
Yeah.
I think that is always a part of it too. Or was he primed just to hate it because he didn't get the dessert he wanted?
I don't know.
And so he was able to like really lean into it, be like, "Bah, this is disgusting."
I told you should have made apple chocolate.
Yeah. Yes.
And in that way, that would be his one bit of passion in
True.
total.
True.
In the series.
Yeah. Yeah. Since we're at dinner,
Yeah.
how do we feel about, I mean, obviously it doesn't make a difference how we feel about it, but it just really struck me this episode, how desperately Mary wanted to turn at the dinner table. Just the whole notion of like being at dinner, and like being seated next to people you are expected to talk to, and you must talk to the person on your right until the host switches, and then everybody else is allowed to talk to the person on the other side.
Yeah.
Yay or nay on that kind of etiquette?
I think it depends.
Okay.
If I were at like a dinner where I didn't know a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say, if I'm at a table and there is a lot of conversation happening around me and there is no sort of rule or order, I get very distracted, and I like my ear wants to be in all conversations.
Right.
And like the worst part of me also wants to be a part of the most interesting conversations, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
Right? Like I get very pulled in situations like that. So I think if I were with a bunch of people with whom I was unfamiliar, I would love that rule. Because it's like, I'm a rule follower. So it's like, okay, I have my rule. This is who I will speak to, and I will not feel obligated to join these other conversations,
Right.
because then I wouldn't be following the rules.
It
But-
also forces someone to be curious about you.
Yes.
And something I have been saying a lot lately about people in just, I think this era of
People aren't
life,
curious.
nobody's curious anymore. Curiosity has gone by the wayside.
Yeah. Preaching to the choir of the high school English teacher,
Right?
who, as AI emerges, is really starting to wonder, like, why are we outsourcing the most exciting part of ourselves?
Right. Yeah. Well, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
We could do a
that's
whole other episode. Maybe
whole
someday
other-
we will, if you're curious about our thoughts on AI.
Yeah.
But I mean, even before AI, just the ability to look something up on the internet has really like, there's no more period of time when you have to wonder about something, or even really about someone. You can go
Yeah.
look at their online footprint and learn a lot.
Yeah.
So I agree, in a setting where you don't know everyone very well, how lovely it would be to have a moment where you are obligated
Yeah.
to say, "Hello, my name is. Who are you? What are your interests? Let's find we have to find a mutual topic of discussion to move forward, or we're going to sit here and quietly look at each other for who knows how long."
Yeah.
So yes, let's follow that rule. So I agree in that situation.
But
that'd be nice. But
if my crush is sitting in the other direction, or if I'm sitting next to the man who's dull as tombs, to borrow, I'm trying to think. I think Joe March uses that phrase at some point. But yeah, if I'm sitting next to that person and I would really like to be talking to the person on the opposite side, then yeah, I'm going to be checking my watch, wondering when the direction swaps.
yeah. Now, the sort of modern day equivalent of that now is when you are in a social situation where you have to remain present, and you know there's just like a really juicy text thread going on in your phone.
Yes.
And you're like, all I want to do is go see what's going on with everybody else in that text thread, but I have to sit here and talk to these real life people who are not nearly as interesting as what's happening in my phone right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we could also now just pull out our phone and text the person across the table if we would rather be talking.
That is true. Like if Mary had text messages, she would for sure be under the table being like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
Anthony Strachan just spit food across the table."
Yeah.
And
Take a picture. Bring the phone up, take a picture,
Yes.
send it to the downstairs staff. Be like, Mrs. Patmore is in trouble.
Oh, since we're talking about dinner scenes, I was reminded. So, with the new movie out, there's been all sorts of things on social media with interviews with the cast, and they are remembering how they used to play this, like at dinner scenes, they used to play this murder game where, was it Wink Murder, which I think is a little bit like Mafia.
Sure.
And so they'd be, seated at dinner, and some, if the cameras were off, somebody would do the wink. Mm-hmm. And somebody would have to die elaborately. And apparently Maggie Smith was very, very good at wink murder.
Like being the murderer, or
yes,
fake dying? Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, at being the murderer.
I love that.
So I love the idea of them just keeping themselves occupied. Yeah. And being present with each other by just like having this game while they're doing all the setups and takes and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that speaks to the reality of the fact that like these sorts of situations, as glamorous as it might seem to us who are not actors being paid to dress up in fancy clothes and say a few lines to one another, those days can probably get pretty tedious.
Yeah. And if any of that food is real, like you're sitting under candlelight with turn of the century food just going sour in front of you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No. Well, speaking of being sour, I want to comment on Mary in this episode in particular. Okay. Mary and Edith in particular, because Mary, is being a bitch.
Yeah,
but Edith is stoking the flames.
Yes, she is.
She wants it. She wants Mary to be an awful person, and she is going to do everything she can to poke at her.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Anthony Stratton.
Yeah.
Like, she sees that she's able, like, oh, a man might want me instead of you. Mm-hmm. And, like, never mind the fact that he is, again, the old widower from down the road, and he's actually not that desirable a candidate. The fact that she's like, I'm getting attention from a man, immediately turns into, like, Mary 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, no, if only you could get the widower from down this lane, but he's not interested in you. And then Mary, of course, is like, oh, you think he's not interested in me? Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me snap my fingers and draw all of their attention away from you. I felt watching this episode too. It was so interesting. So we started with, this pity for Rosamund, who's alone by herself in this house, and Mary saying, well, really, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. In the next episode, we'll open with a discussion of women's rights.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're seeing what happens when you don't give women anything to do, or when women's only role in their family is to marry well, right? Look at, in many ways, the system has turned these sisters against each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure. Because
it's made them threats to one another as opposed to supports. So I don't think I thought that the first time that I watched the series. I think you just pick up on the emotions, and your attention and your favor sort of shifts between Mary and Edith depending on what's going on. Mm-hmm. But this time watching, I was like, they're being horrible, but to some extent, like, this system's made them horrible to each other. Their society is making them behave horribly.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet, strangely, Sybil, not a part of it.
Nope.
Although, in the next episode, we'll talk a little bit about how the perception of Sybil maybe entering the ring really shakes Mary up for a moment.
Yeah.
But not this episode. Sybil's off doing her own thing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she hasn't made her debut yet, so she's not technically an eligible lady.
That's true. So, yeah, it is. It's just the two older girls like fighting it out. Who's going to get married first?
I don't know if they've ever established like how many years are between them, but I get the sense that Sybil is just like enough years younger that if two sisters are millennials and Sybil is Gen Z.
Yeah, for sure. They do both tend to act protectively towards Sybil, so there probably is a little bit more of an age difference.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. And we talked about this a little bit too, that, Mary, for no other reason than to spite Edith goes and gets the attention of Anthony Strallen, abandoning Matthew after they've had this lovely conversation at dinner once they were finally allowed to turn.
Yes.
And Robert, I have to give it up. Robert saw what was going on. I posited in a previous episode that maybe he wasn't up to date or like wasn't seeing what was in front of him. Clearly he sees it. Yeah. Because what he sees it, he doesn't like it, and he comments on the fact that Mary can be such a child.
I wrote that down too, and then I wrote, indeed.
Right. Yeah. Well, first of all, she is. These are very young women. And it's like the idea that by early 20s you needed to be married off and having kids. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
In some ways times have changed and in other ways they haven't, but I would hope that that's something that we've at least, that expectation to be in your early 20s and settling down hopefully we've eked that closer to maybe our 30s.
Yeah.
But also, just the fact that, she thinks she can set a toy down and walk away from it and it'll still be there when she gets back. It's like, you totally just screwed over Matthew.
Yeah. Oh, I got let him so mad at her.
Yeah.
The first time I watched this episode, I just remember being so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was starting to get invested in that relationship, and then for her to just toss it.
Well, and because of course, her interaction with Anthony Strallen means nothing to her.
No.
Other than just to make
Edith mad.
Mm-hmm. Which it does.
Yep. Mad enough to write a letter to the Turkish embassy.
Yes, that's how this episode ends. Mm-hmm. We have her writing a note. Yeah. Because she has also been pulled into the drama with O'Brien and Thomas to try to get Daisy to say what she knows because they can tell she knows something.
And so she will go ahead and try to implicate her sister in the death of Mr. Pamuk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how the episode comes to a close as we zoom in on her envelope to the embassy.
Yes.
So, any other reactions about this episode in particular that you wanted to share?
Just the one that I would like to share is, can I please have a bedside biscuit tin?
Amen. Although this whole they don't even eat it nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm like, that tin would be empty.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it'd be great. I can go to my room. I can have my tea. I can read my book. Biscuits are there anytime that I need them. And biscuits are good.
Yeah.
I love an English biscuit.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's my one comment. Can I please have a bedside biscuit tin?
Hey, unfortunately, that is not something I can provide for you. But if somebody listening to this podcast who lives within biscuit making distance to Stefanie, she has made her desires known.
Yes.
Time to start supporting the podcast in a very concrete way.
Yes.
Somebody deliver a tin of biscuits weekly.
Yep.
And make some room on that nightstand.
I'm not too particular. I like variety.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Make it happen, people.
Yes.
I love it. And that scene, of course, is so funny because Daisy's holding the vessel.
Yeah. It is like a glass, like a crystal decanter, of course, with the metal top.
Yeah. But also I'm like, girl, why don't you just turn around and kneel down by the fireplace? That's what you're in there for.
Yeah.
He didn't need to see you with the cookies. Just put the darn thing down, cover it with your body, be working on the fireplace. Everything would have been fine. But it would have been much less boring or much less exciting for the episode.
And another great moment of Anna's practicality where she's like, have a biscuit. They never ate them. No one will know.
Right.
Why are we worrying about this nonsense?
And even as Carson sort of gives the side eye of what are you doing, Daisy? He clearly also understands that.
Yeah.
And if this were actually some sort of infraction, he wouldn't let it go.
Right.
He'd be like, polishing the container in my butt.
I have to ask you about this because it's my job.
Right.
But let me just turn the other way.
It's one of those times when a person in authority isn't saying don't do it again. They're saying don't let me catch you doing this again.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. So that was season 1, episode 5. Lots to talk about.
Yes.
Lots of storylines that will sort of continue into the next episode. But before we move on from here, every episode, one host is going to challenge the other with a trivia question related to the Julian Fellowes property that we're discussing. So it might be about the actor, the production, the time period. Really, the possibilities are endless. So last week, you asked me a question.
I did.
So let's see how it went for me.
Yes. This week, I have a question for Kirt.
I'm so excited.
All right. Are you ready?
I am.
Here we go. We'll see. Okay. There are a number of Ted Lasso Downton Abbey crossovers. Probably the most notable being Jeremy Swift, who's Sprat, and then the sort of general manager of the Greyhounds, or the PR department of the Greyhounds on Ted Lasso. But Bill Fellowes, who plays Mrs. Hughes' old flame in this episode of Downton Abbey, is also an important character in Ted Lasso's Greyhound lore, one who in some ways paved the way for Ted's place on the team. So what role did Bill Fellowes, no relation to Julian Fellowes?
Really? That's funny.
Yeah. What role, and his character is named George Cartrick. I don't think that gives anything away. What role did he have on the team?
Okay, so if he paved the way for Ted Lasso, it would almost be too easy to say that he was the coach.
It might be too easy.
But it might be right. Was he the coach?
But it might be right.
Okay. Yay!
Yay!
And I was about to veer and be like, the water boy? Just Okay, listeners.
Yay!
Did you get it right? I finally got one right.
Yay!
Follow us on Instagram at Strange Bedfellows. That's Fellows with an ES, where we will be posting the trivia question and answer each week, so you can play along with us. And this week, it's my turn to ask a trivia question to Stefanie.
All right, let's hear it.
Here we go.
Okay.
So speaking of that envelope.
Ooh, okay.
Speaking of that envelope, the final line in that address is London, SW.
Oh. Okay.
So the SW, Southwestern Postcode Area, also known as the London Southwest Postcard Area, is a group of 20 postcode districts within the London Post town in England. The area comprises the Southwestern Operational District and the Battersea Operational District, and is the only area within the London Post town to lie on both sides of what river? So listeners, tune in next week to find out if Stefanie got the answer right, and if you think you know the answer, like we said, go find us over on Instagram and put your answer in the comments. This has been another episode of Strange Bedfellows. You've heard our thoughts, and now we want to hear yours.
The best way to get in touch with us is on Instagram. Again, that's at Strange Bedfellows with an ES in Fellows, or email us at strangebedfellows@gmail.com. You can also find our personal social media links in the show notes.
If you would be so kind, please rate and review the show wherever you're listening to us right now, and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for listening.
Ta-ta! I'm off to have some biscuits.